Landlords, one wrong clause in your tenancy agreement could cost you thousands. Listen up. The tenancy agreement is really, really important. Naturally, this is your rent consideration, this is your key handover consideration, this makes up the whole framework of the rent agreement that you've arranged. So getting this document watertight is really, really necessary, and that allows for changes in the future like rent reviews and similar, and it also sets out the guidance for the tenant's expectations and what the tenant can expect of you as well. Writing your own agreement is risky, especially if you haven't had it checked over by a solicitor. There are plenty of templates out there that I have seen. A lot of them can often go overboard and overcomplicate particular clauses, which make them difficult for tenants to read and understand when signing such a document, and also could be the opposite. They could not cover enough information for yourself as a landlord in terms of making sure you are protected under that agreement. So an example would be, I've often come across tenancy agreements with a few things, one being one-sided clauses. So a landlord might stipulate that they want a break clause in their contract that says that they will be able to give their tenant 2 months notice at an earlier stage in the agreement based on certain conditions, and what they don't include within that is the fair break clause in reverse that has to go to the tenant. And by instantly not including something like that, that clause that you've written out is null and void, because you haven't made it a fair and balanced clause. And one of the most important things of a tenancy agreement is that it needs to be fair and balanced throughout. Other examples might include registration of a deposit. So deposits have to be registered, certified, and prescribed information has to be provided. Prescribed information, when an agency, for example, draws up a tenancy agreement, when we draw one up, we include that prescribed deposit information within our tenancy agreement. So it's clear and concise and everybody knows what they are receiving. If things like that aren't included, you could be at risk of falling foul of deposit protection procedures. Every good tenancy agreement should have, as you would expect, the landlord's details, the tenant's details, the rent consideration, the term agreed for the tenancy, how the payments of rent are made and what they are made for, whether or not the tenancy includes utility bills. It should also then have a consideration for the landlord's obligations under the contract, which is usually down to the structural integrity of the property, and it should also have clauses related to the tenant's obligations, which will include general cleaning, tidiness, making sure that they are reporting issues that might arise, but also making sure that they are not causing nuisance to neighbours, what the rules might be surrounding non-payment of rent, how the deposit will be handled and how it should be returned, and similar clauses that align with sort of tenant obligations really, and making sure that both parties have got a fair and equal ground. There can be room for additional clauses in contracts, but they have to be fairly and equally agreed before that they can be inserted and signed. And I would always recommend that you use a contract that has been either approved by a solicitor or an agency that is already using a specific template approved by a solicitor. So in order to make sure that our tenancy agreements are fair, legal and watertight, we actually work with our regulators to create them. So our regulators are Arla Property Mark, and they are a national regulator for letting agents. I'm a member of them myself, and our tenancy agreements are put together by them in the first instance. So they provide the template to us. So they work with solicitors that put that together. So we make sure that all of the tenancy agreements that we issue are based on the set template, nationally set, that is the best practice in accordance with the regulations in the UK. So that is the best place to start, is you want to really be choosing an agency to draw up your tenancy agreement that is Arla or Property Mark protected, so you know that